everybody, and welcome back to Octane Addicts TV. I'm Carrie the Camera Chick, and today we want to talk about someone we met a couple of months ago, Doug Curry. We met Doug and Barbara at Rides at the Market in Columbia in March of this year. Immediately, Matt and Rob were drawn to the Dodge Coronet, and they said, we've got to talk to this guy. Barbara and Doug were just sitting there enjoying the day, having a good time, laughing. They made plans to do an Octane Addicts TV with Doug at his place at a later date, so they could get a little more detail about the car and talk to him a little more extensively. So Matt and Rob went to the shop, had a great interview with Doug. Actually, we're making plans to have an additional interview, to do an additional car. He was very excited about the episode. The episode was published in May, and about a week later, we found out that Doug had passed away suddenly. We were contacted by a member of his family wanting to know if there was any additional footage that they could see of their father. He was obviously well loved, he loved his cars, and they just wanted to have a little bit more of a glimpse into his inside world and hear some things just kind of candidly that he might have been doing. So Doug was full of life. He was retired, enjoying his time with his family, going to car shows, and just full of life, excited about tomorrow. And we certainly are sorry that we never got to do an episode with the Lincoln. We're going to go ahead now and show you some additional footage from Rides at the Market with Doug Curry and his Dodge Coronet.
Hey, good afternoon, everybody. We're here at the Rides to the Market car show in Columbia, South Carolina. I'm here with Doug and his badass 59 Dodge.
58.
58 Dodge. And we're here with Doug and his badass 58 Dodge. So Doug, tell us a little bit about the car, where you found it, how you found it.
Actually, we found it in South Carolina. I was actually looking for a Chrysler, but a little later model than this. And when I walked in the showroom, this was sitting there, caught my attention. And after I found out it was the original 10,000 mile car, I kind of had to have it. But this, you can see I've changed all that. It had a 325 with everything else stock. Now it has a modern 392. We dress it up to look like a little older Hemi. That's got a 4L60 Chevrolet transmission. I think it's one of the first in the country, from what I understand, because they had to move the starter to the other side.
Okay.
So it was an engineering feat. It was all done by Ryan's Rod Shop in '96, South Carolina.
Okay.
4-link suspension, 9-inch rear, 392 gears, air conditioning now. The paint was this when I bought it. It has been painted once. The interior is all original. Even the covering on the seats is original. The only thing we changed in there was to put air conditioning in a center console with some cup holders.
Yeah, it's very nice. For those of you out there, we'll be panning around the vehicle and checking some things out. But all original interior, 10,000 miles. Bought out of what car dealership in South Carolina?
I cannot remember the name of the dealership off the top of my head. It was a small dealership. I remember the name of the town, to be honest with you.
Okay.
I would have to look it up. I've had it for 2 years, and I've never been back there since. But it was a great old guy that I bought it from. He had it at one time. He sold to a car dealership. They put it in the showroom, and when they wanted to sell it, he bought it back, and then I bought it from him.
Okay.
So the car dealership did change the color of the top. It was red originally, and he didn't like that, so it's all black.
Well, it's a very nice paint job, very nice car, and we'll show you more about it here in a few minutes.
Mm-hmm. Thank you.
There's also some additional footage from the day that Matt and Rob interviewed Doug at his shop.
So where do you see now which, and we use this and we may not.
Okay.
How do you see the hot rod where the industry's going in the next 10 years?
Oh, jeez. It's not going the right way in my book. Now, of course, when these electric cars actually get on the road, you can get a lot of horsepower out of an electric car. I mean, I've seen them with 1,000 horsepower, and that's a lot of horsepower, and they are fast. They would outrun a 1,000 horsepower piston engine car in a heartbeat. I don't know much about an electric car, but they have some torque, and they are fast. They just don't have that sound that I think you need to have with a car. That's the only thing I have against them is that there's no sound, and the fact that they only go 300 miles. And my question with that is that with the AC on, the radio on, or is that just, it goes 300 miles, we got the windows down and nothing on? Because it's just a battery. It doesn't produce anything, it just stores electricity. So it just uses up, when it's done, it's done. My question is, why don't they put basically some kind of alternating system on it? On all four wheels, as you're driving it, it charges the battery back up. I've never heard anybody say that, but would that make any sense to anyone? While the wheels are turning, put some kind of system like an alternator that would charge the battery.
That's funny you say that, because that's what I came up with, the drones, the big drones that we find, the big center drones. I was like, well, damn, if we've got power spinning, why can't we sit there and run kind of generating back into a tender, charging the battery?
Harness the power you're exerting.
Right.
It's just, because
Well, what do they call it? Perpetual motion?
perpetual motion, yes. Yeah. And you're going down the highway 70 miles an hour. It has, just put something on the wheel, reduce it down with gears or whatever, where it wouldn't take to draw much power.
To where you're at least, as you're driving, you're putting 30% back in the battery.
Yeah, something back into
you're
it.
using power, but you're also replenishing to a degree.
Yeah.
Not saying you can overcome it or have to charge.
No, but you can get a little farther down the road and not worry about it.
Look, and I'm all for, the electric guys, let's see it, because I mean, I've seen a golf cart run 150 miles an hour, and it's something to see.
Well, not with me on it. No.
But this right here, this car, and these cars are what I call timeless. In 50 years, this car's still going to be relevant. It's still going to be cool.
Well, yeah, there's something, and I hate to say this to the new guys, but no one in 50 years is going to open up the garage and say, look at my Kia. They're not going to do that. It's just not the same. I just don't think there'll ever be a classic. I mean, the Supra, maybe some of those cars will be, but as far as, say, like this one was an average car back then, they're not going to be anything like now.
That thing outside,
Yeah.
it's just, like you said, that sure the hell wasn't cool back then.
No,
but it's cool now.
Cool now, yeah. And, the electric car thing, I don't know how they're going to afford those either, because those aren't cheap either. So I don't understand which way the kids can really go except the tuners. And again, if you look though, they're not even making too much of those anymore. The ones that they can actually do anything with, they've kind of shied away from those, and when everything is a four-door family car or an SUV, and everything's an SUV.
So we bought Carrie's Cadillac. They tried like hell to sell. We told them we want a two-door.
No.
We don't have kids. We want a two-door. And it took about a month to find a two-door ATS Cadillac.
Yes, it does. Everything's a four-door. And they look pretty good. It's just, well, I'm sure when I grew up, four-door was a family car, period. It was not something, or a parts car.
That's right.
Yeah, but, two doors were it. I was like my father said, I'll never buy a four-door because I got kids and they can open the back doors while we're driving, which you could because there was no way to lock them. You could just open the door at any time. But as I got older and got out, then I started buying the larger Cadillacs and Chryslers, and of course, then I wouldn't open the back door, I guess. But I don't know where it's going to go for the young group. I just hope they stick with it and don't let it die. No matter what kind of car it is, do something with it. It's something, even if it's just dressing up with wheels and put your spoilers on the back, front, whatever. Just don't let it die.
Would you be impressed with a car that looked like that was electric?
I would be. I actually would be. I wouldn't drive it. I mean, I wouldn't buy it. Don't say I wouldn't drive it. But like I said, I dismiss the sound of the V8 engine. I've had a couple of Vipers. The V10 sounds pretty good too. But the V8, there's nothing that sounds like it. The Viper even kind of sounds like Lamborghini type sounds, and that's basically who built the motor anyway. Lamborghini partnered with, I'm sure you know, with Dodge to build that motor. So it's basically a Lamborghini motor. But it was a strong runner motor, great car. No creature comforts whatsoever, though. They don't even have cruise control, which is kind of upsetting when you're trying to go down the interstate one. But you look cool doing it, so it didn't matter.
Oh, that sounds will beat you.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, they're rough. They're rough, but they are fast, and they're cool looking. But again, get back to the kids nowadays, I just don't let it die. Not just for that, but there's a lot of people employed in the aftermarket in this. You know how many jobs are actually tied to this? You would be surprised. And we can't let them just up and go away either. We need the jobs. unless you have a college degree. Then you can live in your parents' basement. Cut that part out.
I love it. That was good stuff.
So, from all of us here at Octane Addicts TV, we offer our heartfelt condolences to Doug's family, and we hope that you will enjoy these memories and let them carry you through the hard times. Thank you all for watching, and we'll see you next week.
I have never seen one other than this one, but I know they're out there somewhere, maybe in someone's garage, but they're not on the road. And that's just what makes it special to me, is being totally different than everything else.